it should be at least a little bit of a mystery, a little curious at the very least, that the very now umbrella political movement and cultural movement, the LGBTQIA, there's many letters there, so they put a plus at the end, that LGBTQIA plus movement at once asks you to espouse contradictory claims on this question. So on one hand, the very movement, this umbrella movement, that told you that the sex of the person you're attracted to is hardwired on the day you're born. And by the way, that was a central claim of the gay rights movement. And it was a central claim of the legal argument for why gay rights count as civil rights, that it's an immutable characteristic. The very people who said that the sex of the person you're attracted to on the day you're born also now require you to believe that your own gender, or even in some constructs, your biological sex, is completely fluid over the course of your life. Now, you can't believe both of those things at once, but it becomes even less credible. Now let's just go one layer deeper. That paradox is even more perplexing when you're asked to believe this against the backdrop of there being no gay gene, there's no gay chromosome, but yet that's the attribute that you have to believe is hardwired on the day you're born, or else you're a bigot. And yet, the attribute for which you do have two definitive, measurable, imageable, by karyotyping, empirically discernible. You think about even the chapter of God is real and people who hold empiricism as even their false God. Fine, apply that here. A discernible, empirically observable reality. And yet to say that that's the attribute, the one that is actually totally mutable over the course of your life, while the one that had no genetic or chromosomal basis, the sex of the person you're attracted to, is the one that somehow had to be immutable. So it becomes serially, I think, more and more ridiculous, or at least untenable, to adopt those contradictory assumptions at once. To say that maybe you could believe one of those things, or you could believe the other of those things. But the postmodern demand is that you believe both of those things at once, which is something that even for somebody who isn't, maybe as drawn to the underlying biological or evolutionary historical truth, could at least acknowledge the hypocrisy of that for the purpose of civil dinner table conversation, which again is part of the purpose of my book, to make some of these concepts a little bit more accessible.